Stella Wong disappeared Monday, December 23, 2018, from Crothers Woods Trail near Redway Road, East York, Toronto, Canada. Her body was found on the 24th near Don River. Stella Wong, 45, was last seen at around 7 p.m. on December 23, 2018, on the Crothers Woods Trail near Redway Road in the East York area of Toronto in Canada. She had been hiking the trail with a friend, and for reasons unknown they became separated. Stella had vanished from the trail. The next day, the body was recovered by search and rescue and the police. Stella had ended up drowned in the local Don River, which passed nearby despite being a very regular visitor to the area. Why did Stella's friends say, quote, "something doesn't seem right," end quote? Stella and her companion left their cars in the parking lot by Loblaws on Redway Road before making their way to the trail on foot. Temperatures in the area were 0 degrees Celsius overnight on December 23rd. What is and where is the Crothers Wood Trail? There is a short walk to the Crothers Wood Trailhead by the Loblaws parking lot. The trail is used by bikers and hikers, and it is well marked, taking you through mature forests and open spaces adjacent to the Don River and points. The discovery of Stella Wong's body the next day at around 9 a.m. was located near the Don River by Toronto police and search and rescue teams. Detective Anthony Paletto said, quote, "Uniformed police officers located the body of the female, which we believe at this time to be Stella Wong," end quote. According to the Detective Paletto, there were no signs to indicate trauma. Quote, "There is an information to indicate that foul play is something we need to consider." Stella's longtime friend, Ian Wiley, told CTV News Toronto that something doesn't seem right. Quote, "As she's part of a mountain biking group and knew the trails in the area very well. He said, she came here all the time. She parked in the same spot every time, and she would ride up and down these trails." Apparently, Stella's hiking companion cooperated with the investigation and was never charged with any crime. Why were the two hikers on the trail so late in the day on December 23, 2018? Were they lost? Did they have torches? How and why did the two companions separate at 7 p.m.? How did Stella get lost and end up drowning in the area she had hiked and biked for years? Did she slip? Was she pushed? There have been no other stories where visitors to the park have mysteriously ended up dead. Runners, hikers, or cyclists. Andy Warburton disappeared July 1st, 1986, and his body was found July 9th, 1986, in Tucker Lake, Beaver Bank, Nova Scotia, Canada. Doreen and Tom Warburton from Hamilton, Ontario in Canada took their two sons Gary and Andy to see relatives in Beaver Bank near Dartmouth in Nova Scotia on July 1986. They were staying with Aunt Helen and the Bulger family on Tucker Lake Road. On July 1st, 1986, Andy, 9 years old, and Gary decided to go swimming with the twins at the Carr residence on the same road at a nearby Tucker Lake. Violet Carr, the twins' mother, told the children at 3:40 p.m. that they could go swimming for 20 minutes. 3 of the 4 children headed off towards the lake, but Andy was delayed for some reason, and the others left without him. They were wearing their swimming outfits. Just behind the Carr house is a pathway to Tucker Lake through the woodland, with a fork, the right heading towards the lake and the left fork moving deeper into the woods. Violet saw Andy at around 4 p.m. on her back step, but after that, he vanished, never to be seen alive again. Helen and Doreen started dinner and noticed that Andy was nowhere to be seen. The family checked with neighbors, the path, and Lakeside, then called the RCMP, and officers arrived at 5:45 p.m. The RCMP saw a young boy called Hob McDonald, who had just come back from summer camp that day, and he said he saw Andy earlier by the stream called Beaver Bank River. He had apparently taken his tennis sneakers off, crossed the water, and then put them back on. But Andy's mother was surprised at this story, as apparently he was scared of the river because he had gotten covered in leeches the last time he went in it. Andy was never far away from the twins, but the RCMP never questioned them for some reason. At 6:30 p.m., tracking dogs went into the woods, went across the river, and then circled back. They were never taken in the area of Tucker Lake. Waverly Search and Rescue arrived with around 100 searchers in the wood, most of them across the Beaver Bank River. The Canadian Emergency Measures Organization, EMO, coordinated the search, directed by Burmy Marshall, only his second search in the role, and he had no formal training. During the mid-afternoon that day, on July 2nd, it started raining, and the temperature dropped to 53 degrees. On day 3, Searchers were looking in ever-widening circles. There were 3 separate accounts that Andy was seen or heard north of Hamilton Lake on the Chesapeake Road and directly west of Tucker Lake, focusing the attention of rescue teams. Searchers reported seeing a boy running away from them and being spooked, but these reports were possibly false, and the calling of porcupines could be mistaken for a boy screaming or a fawn running through the undergrowth, which was common in the area. Still no luck in locating Andy, with time running out because of the cold and wet conditions. By day 5, 14 organized search and rescue teams were deployed, but were not sufficiently coordinated and were using different maps and radios. Hundreds of volunteers turned up to help, but were often left waiting for instructions. On day 7, the military was finally dispatched in the area, and Andy's sneakers were located. On day 8, after 165 hours of search operations, Andy's body was found north of Square Lake in Rasley Meadow, a 3-mile, 4-kilometer walk from the area of Tucker Lake at around 5:30 p.m. The body was in the alder thicket in a gully of marshy ground and outside the primary search area, curled up in a fetal position. He had bad scratches on his legs. The coroner reported he probably died on the day 4 or 5 based on the autopsy results. The searchers had never thought to look in Rasley Meadows, as he had wandered further than they expected. Expert trackers say the average person leaves behind 2,000 clues for every mile traveled, from broken twigs to footprints to twisted blades of grass. A team of well-trained searchers, spaced 10 feet apart, can usually pick up 95% of these clues, but they found nothing. Professor Ken Hill, a child psychologist from St. Mary's University in Halifax, was asked by the RCMP to help in the search by giving information as to how a child would behave when lost. After Andy was found dead, he was determined to do more research into disappearances and use the data of William Serotuk, a researcher in the United States, and conducted interviews with the survivors to ascertain the psychology of those who get lost. He found that many children between 7 and 12 years of age become stranger resistant and won't respond to rescuers and will tend to run, usually covering between 0.92 and 1.7 miles. The search for Andy Warburton was criticized for being chaotic and unplanned. Stranger resistance may have been a factor, but also the primary search area was wrong because of reports of sightings near Hamilton Lake. What exactly happened near Tucker Lake and why Andy ended up in Rasley Meadows is a mystery. A distance of 3 miles, which is further than most children of his age would travel when lost. Why did the other children take so long in noticing that Andy was not with them, swimming in Tucker Lake, particularly his brother Gary? Despite thousands of searchers and hundreds of hours, the effort failed to locate Andy in time. What kept Andy hidden for so long? A sad and disturbing tale which led to further valuable research in missing persons by Hill and Serotuk, which helped subsequent search and rescue operations.